This is a COVID-only recommendation.
First up right now at 5:30, graduation requirements changing for students in New Haven.
In a school year filled with plenty of challenges and distractions, one district is adjusting its credit requirements in order to make sure seniors graduate this spring. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live in the Elm City with specifics on what will be different. Matt.
Well, Aaron and Mark, in passing this unanimously, the Board of Education stresses it's just a one-time deal brought about by the pandemic, and students here in New Haven aren't going to get off easy. They're still going to have to come up with a number of credits, in fact, more credits than what's required by the state minimum. But the district says this should still help students and their parents breathe easy, especially with less than 2 months left of school. Last year, COVID caused high school graduations to look a lot different, like these drive-thrus where New Haven's class of 2020 picked up their diplomas. And for many this year, hasn't been any easier.
Going to school this year has definitely been more difficult. I will say that there's so many distractions at home and everywhere.
So for the class of 2021, New Haven's Board of Education is changing its graduation requirements.
COVID has presented a lot of problems for our students in terms of access. And some of them have not been able to get the number of credits, even though they've met the state requirement.
So with less than 35 school days left in the academic calendar, New Haven's Board of Ed decided to adjust the number of credits needed this year to graduate.
Mr. Wilcox?
Yes.
Mr. Goldson?
Yes.
Mayor Eliger?
Yes.
This week, the board voted to modify the graduation requirements for just this 1 year, allowing students to graduate from high school as long as they've completed 25 credits. The issue is some New Haven high schools have different standards and require more.
For instance, if a student is at co-op and co-op requires 29 credits, then that student can graduate with 25 credits because it exceeds the state requirement.
In that instance, the student's diploma would say New Haven Public Schools and not the actual high school. And thanks to a few additional math and science requirements, the 25 credits required by New Haven is actually 3 more than the 22 credits currently required by the state.
I think that's a great idea just because everybody as a whole has been struggling with getting consistent grades and making sure they're passed. I know a lot of people who have been high A's and B's suddenly just getting C's and D's all semester. So I think that making it so that not everybody has to worry about hitting that requirement would definitely be great.
Again, this is just for this 1 year because of the pandemic, but the board said it would look into possibly getting all the high schools here in the Elm City to have the same standards and requirements so they wouldn't have to come across this issue in the future. We're live with the Mobile Newsroom in New Haven. Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.